Hi everyone, welcome to BISP Trainings. My name is Faiza Alam, NetSuite Functional Consultant at BISP Solutions. In today's session, we will learn about the process of vendor return authorization. I mean, how can we create a vendor return authorization, and after that, how can we approve that vendor return authorization in the NetSuite application. So let's start now. First, we will know what is vendor return authorization. A vendor return is a process of return of goods that takes place between an organization and a vendor. Now we can say that, I'll just take an example over here. When we ordered a particular item, and after some time or after receiving the item, we come to know that the item is either faulty or is not up to our requirement, and we want to return that. So for that purpose, we initiate the process of vendor return authorization, which is also known as the purchase return. Vendor return authorization records a return to a vendor, which includes the items to be returned, its quantities, the approval status, the shipment status, and the amount that is to be refunded. Moving towards the vendor return authorization process. So the first step in this process is the we have to authorize the return. We have to initiate the VRA process by authorizing the return. When the return is authorized, it is approved. Then after approval of it, the returning and the fulfillment of the item is done. And when the fulfillment is processed, the refunding of the item is done. As moving further, the last step in the vendor return authorization process is after refunding is crediting the bill. So this is how these are the steps that are there in the vendor return authorization process. Moving on to the NetSuite application, for entering a vendor return authorization, there are two ways. So first, it can be initiated, it can be entered with an existing purchase order, and we can create an individual vendor return authorization. So if we take the first way into consideration, like for creating a vendor return authorization from an existing purchase order. So for that, we will be going under the transactions, purchases, enter purchase order, and list. So here we can see a purchase order window has opened up before us. For entering the vendor return authorization, it is usually initiated only with the when the item has been received. So it is not been done. It is not. It cannot be done with the pending receipt or fully billed. No, sorry. It can be done with the fully billed or for the purchase order that is pending for billing. So here I am taking. So we can take this vendor 1054 iPhone, which is fully built. So here also we are having this authorized return option. We can see all the information is here. If we go down, we can see that this purchase order has been created for modem router. The quantity over here is this. It means that two quantities have been taken and two have been billed. And further, it was observed that this, we want to file a vendor return authorization. So for that, we will be clicking on it on the authorized return tab. So here you can see that the vendor return authorization window has opened up before us. As we have done in the previous sessions, first thing we have to change is to change the form from custom to standard. So here we can see that the vendor name is here. The status in this vendor return authorization, we are having two options. The first is pending approval and the other is pending return. So we will be leaving it as pending approval, and we will get this VRA approved in later on. So here we can see the status. I have left it as pending approval. Date is here. The amount for which we want to enter this VRA. Currency is here. The purchase order from which this VRA has been created is here. Subsidiary is here. If we want to provide any class, location, or department, we can do it. And we can see the items. Two quantities are being returned. We will just have a cross check of all the information, and then we will click on save. Okay, in order to save this VRA, we have to mention the location for it, which is a mandatory field over here. We have to mention where this VRA is to be shipped, and after this we will click on save. So here we got the confirmation that the vendor return authorization has been successfully saved. After it, we have to click on the approve return, which is the next step in the VRA process. We do not have to do anything. We will click on the return tab in order to further proceed towards the VRA. The next step is the item fulfillment. We do not have to do anything. If custom form is here, date, and the vendor name is here. The item that has been fulfilled is here. We just click on save. So again, we got the confirmation. The next step is we have to refund the refunding of the VRA. So we will click on the refund tab. Now, after at the refunding, we are having this bill credit option. We can see that all the information is already here. We just have to click on save, and this bill will be credited. Now the whole process for the vendor return authorization has been completed. This is the first way. If we move towards the other way, so for that we will be going under the transactions, under the purchases, and we will over to enter vendor return authorization in order to create an individual VRA. So here, first thing we will be changing the form. As it is an individual created VRA, so for that we have to provide the vendor name for it. Like I'm taking here this Dell UK. And I will be leaving this status as a pending approval, as we will be, get this VRA approved in the next. We can see the date is here, the amount. So as we are about to create an individual VRA, so when we mention the amount and item in the line label, only after that the amount will be visible over here. Subsidiary is here, and the currency has already been taken according to the subsidiary. So if we go down into the line level, so here we have to provide the, like I am taking this for an item. we are about to, return an item. VRA can be for expenses and for items also. Like I am taking here this cordless drill. You can see that we are returning the only one quantity. The rate, we have to provide the rate for it, like I am mentioning here 2000. You can see that the amount is already been taken. Location, which is a mandatory field, we have to provide the location for it, like UK warehouse I am taking. We will click on add. Some details are required to be filled, like we have to provide these values for it. And you can see that the amount along with the tax and all is here, like 2400 GBPs is already here. And after providing all these details, if we want to provide any memo, we can provide it, like I am taking here, since it is an individual VRA. And we will click on save. So we can see that we got the confirmation that the vendor return authorization has now been saved. Only the status over here is shown approval. The approval of it is pending. So for that, we will be going into the transactions, purchases, and over to approve vendor return in order to approve this vendor return authorization. So here you can see that the VRA that we have created for Dell UK, which is on 25th of March, is pending for approval. So I will check this box out and submit it. And you can see that the VRA has been successfully approved. So this is how we can create and we can approve any vendor return authorization in the NetSuite application. In order to view that those VRS that we have created, we will be going under the transaction, purchases, enter vendor return authorization and list. So here we can see that the two which is, we have created like individual VRA for Dell UK, and the other one is from the existing purchase order, which is for the vendor 1054 phone has been created. So this is how we can enter a vendor return authorization and how can we approve that in our NetSuite application. This is all for today. In case of any questions, queries, and consultations, feel free to write to us at www.bispsolutions.com. Thank you.